All right,
Oh
we
no,
are
I
live.
just got camera shy.
Well, welcome everybody to our second podcast, the Gato and Gabe podcast, where we talk about entertainment, other things, and whatever you want to talk about. Today we're going to talk about dating. So we do have our live chat. Feel free to ask any questions or say any comments. Join us in our conversation.
Right on. Well, let's see if anybody joins live or if everybody watches later. Uh, well, but you'll be the moderator because I can't see anything besides your face and my face
Okay.
and this big microphone in front of you. So, before we dive into the dating, I do. So I made a promise.
Right.
Um, so the person that bought me this microphone. It's in part a bit of a sponsorship, not really, but I just want to thank him. And I asked him if it was okay if I could let people know that he got it for me. He was very excited to find out that we had a podcast going on.
Nice.
His name is Dallin. Oh, maybe he didn't want his name said. Sorry, bro.
Too late
But
now.
yeah, it's too late. Hey, but really go check him out on Instagram. His handle is Retro Fletcher. RETRO underscore and then Fletcher FLETCHER. He does a lot of retro gaming posts and stuff like that. So go check him out if you're into that kind of stuff. And again, thank you so much for providing better sound quality for our podcast. So very much appreciated. So
Yeah.
just needed to get that out of the way.
Okay. Well, now that we've done our semi sponsors there,
Right.
let's talk about dating.
All right. Who wants to
Again,
go first?
if you guys have any questions, just feel free to add them into the live chat. Um,
Oh my goodness, there's a cat. I didn't know you were
disclaimer.
in here.
I will say disclaimer. I'm gonna talk about dating as I knew it about 2 years ago, because now I'm married. So it might be this information I have might be outdated.
It's okay. Mine is too. So you met Brittany 2 years ago, or is that when you made it official?
So we met like Halloween of 2 years ago, so 2017. Yeah.
So
And oh,
you dated for a whole year? So you met in Halloween and then got married on Halloween?
it was like a little after Halloween, because I remember we talk about all the time how the times tables were, but I remember it was I wanted to invite her to a Halloween party that we were holding. I think you remember that back when we had our huge Halloween parties
Oh
at our
yeah,
house.
the big parties, man. Those
Yes.
are the good times.
The bachelor life kind of stuff that you do. But anyway, that I remember wanting to invite her, but she was not available. So we were kind of talking at that point, but we hadn't officially made it a dating or whatever. But
How did you guys meet?
met on
Is that
mutual. So it was a
I think
dating app.
I
It's one
knew
of
that.
the many dating apps that you have that you can find.
Yeah. I think that's the way that people do it nowadays. So I remember. Okay, so like you, um, I've been off the grid. Is that the right term?
Off the market, I think is the
Off the
word.
market. That's
Yeah.
what it is. I've been
Yeah.
off the market for a year and a half ish. And I was almost ready to give up on dating for a while there too. So my timing was just right. Uh, but man, like yeah, dating was really hard. I mean, I know you ended your market position before me, but um it was like it was very frustrating. Uh and like it's just a game really and it was really annoying.
Now
My
the thing
cat
about yeah,
is really
the thing
one
about
second.
dating is that you have to play the game. Really,
You
it
have to
is a
play it
game.
right. So I actually used to hate online dating. Like when it became a thing at first, and everybody was like going to like Match.com and eHarmony and all of those things. Like the OG. Actually, those aren't the OG, but like the earlier online dating ones. Uh, I always thought it was so cringy and just kind of like, well, you can't meet people in person. Like, is that too hard, kind of thing? Like I used to make fun of online dating a lot. Uh, obviously that's in the past. But yeah, I used to make fun of it a lot, and then as we progressed as society and went into like a more digital era, um, I started accepting it, but even then
My
was
question
hard.
is that we talk about it. Is that how did people date before? Like
Well, yeah, it's
we've been in
weird.
online dating for so long that now you look back and man, how did people do it back in the day? You know, bars and stuff like that. But
Yeah, but what about people that don't go to bars or people
yeah,
that
right?
don't go out and socialize or I mean like when we were in high school and college, like I guess that's a way that you can meet people because you're in class with them and whatnot.
Yeah.
But then what happens after that? Like you do need to go to places to meet people like bars or like I don't even know where do you go to date anymore.
I think
And
yeah.
I think the way we like think about it these days, like when we think of like, hey, go approach a girl or hey, go approach a guy, it starts to sound more creepy.
And I think that's part of the problem is that there's a stigma that approaching anybody is creepy, no matter
Yeah.
what.
Yeah, and that sucked. And I think sorry, I think that's because that started to happen. Uh People started going more towards online dating instead of meeting in person or trying to approach someone. And I know it still happens. Like I know it's just not as much as before. Um, but yeah, man, the online dating. So how many apps did you have?
I had at
Did you have
least
all of them?
I had like three at one point. And it was funny because there would be a point where you go to one app, you do your swiping there, you go to the other app, and you're like, oh, there's the same person using the same profile, the same pictures, the same everything.
But but did you ever find the same person with a completely different profile? Like in
No,
one of them, they paint to be like this really nice person, and then you find them in the next app, and it's like, hit
nah.
me up for fun.
People are too lazy for that. That's too much work. Like on
Yeah.
Bumble, you'd be like a jerk, and then on Tinder, you're like a nice guy. That would be weird. I'd like to see that experiment. I think,
Ooh.
yeah, I had three at one point. How much did you have?
I think I had all of them. I had
Dang.
I tried OK Cupid. Okay, like OK Cupid was kind of weird at first because I don't think it was an app. I think it was like online, like website only,
Right.
or at least that's the way I perceived it at first. And it was just so weird to navigate. I'm like, this is too complicated. Couldn't do anything. You always had to pay. Everything was behind the paywall. And so I was like, nah, I don't want to do this. But then it did turn into like some sort of app, and I got it. And I did meet a couple of people there, but they were like, I mean, I don't want to say that the app was
The,
bad, but the people I met there were bad. They're so weird, and I just, yeah, no. But I had all the popular ones.
yeah,
Um,
I think the good thing about dating apps, something I learned from that was that you realize kind of the league you're in. Because like at first when I went into it, I was like, oh, sweet, I could do it. You make your profile the best as it possibly can, like
right,
perfect. If
right.
you can get a 100 out of 100 dating, like profile, and then you just try to swipe. I remember I was going into it. I was like, let's see if I can get some of these type of girls, these type of girls. Try to
Yep.
swipe, never got them, or never matched them. Making it sound like it's
Uh,
Pokemon, but
yeah, how
but
many
I was
Pokeballs did you have?
never able to. So it was good in a sense where I was like, okay, this is, and I'd match with certain type of girls. I'm like, okay, this is the type of girls that I attract, or the type of girls I match with. So then it kind of curbed my expectations of like, okay, maybe I don't go for these type of girls, or I can set my expectations where it needs to be at.
Yeah. See, I think that's something that I learned from the dating apps, and unfortunately, it took me a long time to get to this point because when you're creating your app and you have your friends helping you, you always try to put like your best face
Right.
up front, like you want to show like all the cool things and whatnot. But when everybody starts doing that, it's like nobody is doing that. Like isn't that like a saying like when everybody's a superhero, nobody's a superhero? Isn't that what the
Yeah,
bad
no.
guy in The Incredible said?
Yeah.
Um, and so what's funny about that is like you go through all these profiles and you start noticing that a lot of them have like the same type of pictures. Like with girls, they always had a picture like at Moab, or they had a picture with their dog, or they had a picture um with like the wall graffiti, the wings
Oh my
like that are
gosh, yeah, I've
downtown.
seen that one.
And every
It's so
girl has
sad
a
I know what you're
picture
talking
in
about.
front of the wings. No, and what's funny is that I have a picture in front of those wings, but I never used it. I don't think I ever used it for my profile picture or anything like that. But it was funny, like you start noticing, like everybody tries to be like super cool and look at me, I do all these things, but then really everybody's doing all those things, and in reality, it's just like Instagram. Like you put the best pictures out there, and I mean, there's girls that I met whose pictures were all like outdoorsy, and they're doing all these exciting things, and then we would meet and I'm like, so what do you do for fun? Oh, I watch movies and I hang out with friends, and I just kind of they're more of a homebody, and I'm not saying that's wrong,
Right.
but the impression I get from their profile is that they're this outdoorsy, outgoing person. But then I meet them and they're like not that at all. It's like, oh yeah, I went there like once, like 2 years ago, and it was great, love it, but I haven't been
Yeah.
since then. It's just kind of like so it starts to show this like fake persona uh of or like what you're trying to show is not really who you are. And I think that's what I realized, is that I was trying to be something that I'm not, and I would
Mm-hmm.
always try to like uh I would try to appeal to all these different types of girls that I'm not really into. And until finally it was like I meet all these girls and we don't connect because our profiles don't even connect. And once I switched my profile to like, okay, this is me, this is what I really do, this is what I really am like, and I started being more honest with them, like when we like chatted,
Mm-hmm.
that's when I started making like real connections. And in fact, that's how I met my now fiance. It's like I was just straight straight up like straightforward with her, and I was like, this is what I like. I We freaking bonded over a meme song.
Meme
Um
song.
Meme like
Oh shoot. Oh, right,
it's
right. What song was it?
it was Shooting Stars by Bag Raiders. And so it was like one of the first questions that we were talking about is like, hey, what kind of music do you listen to? And I was like, oh, one of my favorite songs right now is Shooting Stars by Bag Raiders, because it's from a meme. It's a funny song that they put in like short videos. But I freaking love that song. And so she's like, "Oh, I love that song too." And so we that's how we bonded, is through music. And so that was good, but before it was not.
No, I think you bring up a good point about being yourself, and I think I actually did some of that too. Like I would put pictures of me outdoors and doing all this stuff, and the typical like niece photo and the pets photo. But actually, I didn't do the pets photo. But you create this image that you think people will want, and it
Hmm.
does. It will get you matches because you're catering to a wider audience. But at the same time, when you do meet up with these people, then you realize, oh, we actually don't match because I said I was this person, you said you were this person. Maybe they were honest about themselves, but then find out that you weren't, and so it's like, wait, no match.
Yep, basically that's literally what happened um with Bumble, actually, because Tinder, you know where you're gonna go with Tinder. But with Bumble, that's what I did, and I got a lot of matches there. But they're all fake,
Mm.
including myself. And then I finally got Hinge, and I got it because I had heard I had two or three acquaintances that met their significant others through Hinge, and I was like, all right, I guess I'll give it a try, and I did, and that's when I decided to be a little bit more honest with myself, with the profile, and with the people that I talked to, and it was a good experience. Hinge was definitely my favorite. I felt like what what you expect from the person that you're talking to, it's more realistic to what they really are in person.
What's the difference? What's the difference though? Like I remember hearing when you told me about Hinge, I was like, another app? I was saying, what did they do differently this
So,
time?
oh, so you didn't get to
Yeah, I
Hinge,
never
huh?
got Hinge. Never. I missed
Okay,
that part.
so okay, so this might be a little outdated, but so we got Tinder.
Right.
That's just your profile, and then you get to swipe yes or no kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
Oh, there's a cat. Um, you got Mutual, which is basically the same thing, right? It gives you like an approximation, things that you have in common, and then it's just pictures, and then you swipe yes or no. Then you got Bumble, where it forces the girl to say the first word, right?
And they just say hi. Okay. Yeah.
It was like,
That's
hey.
your left to chat anyway.
And then Hinge, so Hinge has your profile. You get to pick like 5 pictures or so. Um, you put your, normal, usual personal information,
Right.
and then the app will ask you 3 questions, and then you answer them. So now you have a profile that starts with like a picture. It goes into like your basic information, and then you keep scrolling down, and you see more pictures and more like questions answered. Um, Now with this app, the difference is that you have to like something specific on the profile. So it's not like you just swipe yes or no. You have to you like something specific in the app. You have the opportunity to say something about what you're liking, which can, it gets the receiver's attention.
Okay.
If you don't like them, you just click no. But it's not a simple yes or no. Like if you're gonna like someone, you have to like something specific. So if they have a cool picture, or if they answer an interesting question, that you can like that part and say like, hey, that's funny. Like I like this too, or like you're one of the few people that actually does the same thing. I don't know, stuff like that. If that makes sense.
I see. Yeah.
Um, so I think that's what allows people to like get a better chance at communicating with people instead of just saying, hey,
No, I
because
get it. Okay.
you're saying you're
So
yeah
you're
you're
swiping on their interests rather than
yes
pictures, essentially.
yeah.
Can you still
So
swipe on? I guess you can still swipe based on the picture, but
I mean, yeah. I mean, you are liking it. You're liking the picture.
right.
The thing is, like, you don't have to match for you to say something. You can literally like put out your catchphrase or whatever, not catchphrase, your attention grabber, your
Headline, I think.
headline. Yeah, like you
Yeah.
can you can send something that will get people's attention rather than having to rely on your pictures and your profile bio for them to like you back. So you can say something that maybe will get their attention, and they'll be like, okay, that's interesting. Click yes. And then you start talking back and forth.
Hmm.
So
That's pretty good.
that, yeah, I thought it was a really smart idea. I really liked it. I like that their logo or their slogan is like the app that's meant to be deleted or something like that.
That sounds
Uh-huh.
bad.
Yeah. No, I mean, yeah, but no, because
Oh,
like
oh,
if
I
you
see.
think
Meant
about
to be
it,
deleted. Ah, got it.
yeah, because you get it and then you find the one and then you just delete it.
I see.
Uh, and I mean, it worked for me.
Did you delete that?
Well, yeah, I deleted
No,
it.
I mean, there's a follow-up question to that. Sorry.
Oh,
The thing is that we, when Brittany and I started becoming official, we talked about it. We had a deleting party where we both deleted each other's,
oh,
or we deleted our apps. I regret that because now, or actually, we deleted our accounts and then the app, and I regret that because we talk about how our first conversation on the app was like, great, and now there's no way to read it back. Like I wish
yeah.
there was a way to like read our first conversation because all I know is that I started off with, "Hey, did you catch up with Stranger Things yet?" And that was like the best way to like start the conversation.
Yeah. Uh, so Amber and I talked about it. We talked about our first conversation. I mean, sometime last year. Like I think it was in the summer
Yeah.
or towards the end of the summer. And I reinstalled the app, hoping that might because I honestly I actually never deleted the profile. I just deleted the app.
There you go.
Um, and so I downloaded again to see if I could just log back in and download screenshot the conversation, but my profile was just gone. And so I was like,
Oh, so they
Dang it.
deleted the account even if you.
Yeah, so I think because I was inactive for so long, I think they just deleted it. Which
Dang.
I mean, cool. I mean, save data or something. I don't know, but yeah, it was kind of a bummer because I wish I could see exactly what is it that I said
Right. See,
and
like
what
like
we
I
did.
wish I had record of that, but no, it's all gone. The funny thing is, I still have my other ones, and I probably should delete those. But so
I
my photo is
I
probably still floating around in the dating world.
dude, there is I have some screenshots. I have screenshot. Man, I wish we would have prepared for this because I would have loved. Okay.
That cat.
Um, yeah, she's going crazy. She's never this crazy. Well, no, that's a lie. She's always crazy. Um, so I have some screenshots of some conversations, like really interesting conversations I've had with people on all these different apps.
Right.
And one of them, oh shoot, I don't remember if it was Mutual or Bumble. Um, but so I matched with this girl, real pretty and whatnot. She was close to the area, typical. Wait,
Okay.
I'm like 2 miles away. Okay, anyway, so we match, and I'm like, hey, what's up? Like, how's it going? And she's like, oh my goodness, I'm doing so well. Like, how are you? So we had a really like good start of a conversation. Like at first, it was really good, and that doesn't happen very often. So I was like, wow, she must really like me. So, um, so we talked for maybe a day, I think, and so I'm like, hey, this is going really well. Like, I'm just gonna go for it. I'm like, hey, do you want to go out? And then she was like, she's like, wait, hold on. Do you have a cousin, whatever name? And I was like, no. And they're like, do you not work at this location or this place? And I'm like, no. And then she's like, oh my goodness, I thought you were someone else whose name is also Israel and who looks a lot like you. And that I like really wanted to talk to like forever ago, but it's not you. And I was like, what? And so she like unmatched me and she's like, I'm sorry, bye. And I was like, okay, if I'm a guy that looks like a guy that you like and we just match, like, shouldn't you give me a chance? But it's whatever. But I just thought it was really funny, so I took some screenshots of that.
No
Uh,
way. I wonder what the happened there.
I don't know. I don't know if it was like a
There was a time I remember I changed my name to Israel at one point.
what?
I'm just kidding. We could look
No,
like
but
twins at some points.
yeah, it's true.
Maybe not
When we have
now,
like the
but
short haircut and
yeah.
the right facial hair, I agree. No, I don't know if it was like an excuse to unmatch without feeling too bad, or if it was a legit excuse. I don't know.
That's a
It
pretty
doesn't matter. That was like 5 years ago.
that's a pretty elaborate way to unmatch somebody than
That's what
just
I
a
figured. I'm
match.
like I wouldn't go through that much of a trouble to unmatch someone. Um, so I can only assume that it was real. But if it was real, then I'd be like, well, what's the problem if you think this guy's attractive and I look like this guy who's attractive? That means that I'm attractive. I don't know.
I've never had anything like that happen to me before. Getting confused. I did actually get confused. We went to an escape room, and you know how they have the PA guy like giving you hints, telling you about the escape room, all that stuff, and what you can and can't do. Anyway, he
Yeah.
goes, he's like, all right, this is what you do, and then he just want to throw this out there. One of you looks like the guy from Walking Dead, and I was like, oh, Glenn. Oh man, I don't know how many times I've gotten that though.
So they just say it over the intercom like,
Yeah,
"Hey, one of you looks like
yeah,
a
out
guy
of
from The
nowhere.
Walking Dead."
So like we're with a big group, and he just throws that out there out of nowhere. I was like, okay,
That's really funny. I've never had that.
yeah.
I mean I do get people compare me to celebrities or other actors and whatnot, but never over an intercom like that.
I know. Oh man, but I think I've gone on a date once with an escape room. That was fun. It was weird because it was like this Harry Potter themed one, and there was other rooms that open, and you had to like, go in between rooms to solve puzzles. And she was in the other room, and we were never in the same room when we did the puzzle, so it was kind of weird.
Oh, awkward.
Yeah, it was
So
pretty awkward.
how did it go afterward?
I think that was the only. Actually, we had another date after that where I taught her photography. It was a cold day, and then that was it. Didn't work out. I've had a lot of those, but it's all it takes. All it takes is to find that one. That's it.
Yeah, I mean, when you know, right?
You
Just
got to
keep
go through
going.
all the bad dates to find the good one.
That's right.
I remember
So,
this one time I made a girl cry on our first date. Not the way you think, though. It was so. What happened was that we talked about meeting at a place for dinner. It was at night at some Mexican restaurant, and so we met midway. I picked her up there, so she parked her car in that parking lot, and then we went to eat. Had a good time, and then we came back, drove into the parking lot, and her car was gone.
oh,
I don't know why I'm laughing, but her car was gone. And I was like, what the heck? And so she starts crying, and she's like, oh my gosh, I have work tomorrow, or I have work a couple days, and talking about how like she has all these, she just dumps her like whole life problems on me. And I was like, oh my gosh, I feel so bad. Like I was thinking maybe we should have just met at the restaurant, shouldn't have just, do the whole meet up halfway. Anyway, so I drive up to a parking spot, and then there's a sign that says your car will be towed, blah blah blah.
oh
So,
no.
so the rest of the night we were just sitting in that parking lot in the dark. It's like nighttime, and had the lights on that sign. And we're calling the towing company. It's like, hey, can we get the car back? Blah blah blah. And so she was just crying the whole night, and it was so awkward. I didn't know what to do. I was like, I'm so sorry. Oh man, I felt so bad. I felt bad that I actually paid for half of the tow.
Hey,
Uh,
that's what a gentleman does.
I felt so bad.
And that I think that's great that you did that.
Yeah.
Not a lot of people would do that. I think a lot of guys would be just like, well, it's too bad, peace out, and they just disappear.
Yeah. That was probably my
Uh,
most expensive date.
I don't remember my most expensive date. I think it was rock climbing. It was a first date, and we decided to go rock climbing, and it was like $80. And then we went to dinner, and we had sushi, so that was another
Oh
like
my
$50.
gosh, why sushi? That's so.
And like the thing is like, okay, so I love sushi,
Right.
and but I also go for cheap sushi. Like sushi is
Like
sushi.
store bought?
No, no, okay,
Oh,
not
okay.
not that
Had
one.
that
But
cheap?
like
Okay.
no, but I would go to to places like
Right.
that have like 50% off all the time kind of thing, like you
Oh,
get your
those are the
roll and
best. I love those.
it's like $5 for the whole
Yeah.
roll, and I'm like that's a good price, right? So I go for the cheaper one because I like it, but I'm trying to impress this girl. I'm trying to be all like, yo, let's
Right.
do cool stuff and eat, fun food. And so we we went out to sushi, but we went to oh, what's it called? I don't even know what it's called, but yeah, it was not cheap sushi like at all. Like each roll was like $15.
Did she like buy 10 plates?
I think we both each had like two rolls, and then we shared a third. So there was a total of five rolls. So yeah, it was like 50 something dollars.
To
And
80 bucks on top of the $50.
yeah, it was really expensive.
Holy
It was a
smokes.
very expensive
Did
date.
you at least go on a second date?
We did. I think
Okay.
we went on 3 or 4 dates. Um, but I don't know. Like by that last date, there's something that was kind of just not hitting right.
Hmm.
I felt like she was.
Using you?
I don't know. So what?
Nothing.
I'm just gonna go back and listen to this again. No, wait, did you say she was too good?
No, I was saying she was using you.
No, because the next dates weren't that great. Maybe that's what it was.
Oh, dang.
Like they were fine dates. They're
Right.
just I feel like I started like up here,
Mm-hmm.
and then the next dates were like down here because I was just like, yeah, let's go to dinner. Let's go. I don't know. I don't even remember what else we did, but I know that I saw her a few times. I know that we became friends for a little bit, so we would still chat and stuff like that. But then she met her now husband and whatever.
It
So
worked out in the end, right?
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I mean,
that's good.
she's with the guy that she's supposed to be with, and I'm with the girl I'm supposed to be with. So it's all good. It's all good. So
I've
yeah.
had some of those where you have friends. You become friends with like people you've dated.
hmm
It's like not awkward, but at the same time, it's like, why?
I th- I think it has to be like a mutual understanding that it's not like there's something wrong with either or. I think it's more of like we just don't work out as a couple, but we work out as friends.
Yeah.
And I think if you can both come to that conclusion, I think it's okay,
I think it's
maybe.
good. I mean, obviously, by the time you're married, you're not even in contact with these people anymore, which
hmm
makes sense. Uh, but at the same, I guess end up using each other as crutches. Be like, okay, let's just keep that companionship going until we find our ones or whatever. But it's like it's not like vicious or cynical or anything mean about it. It's just
So
just
you mean they're like friends with benefits without the benefits, but and it's also temporary.
oh dang, I guess yeah. Now
I
that you
mean,
say
right?
that, that's just like, see, that you just made
To
my
an
point.
extent, it's like, hey, let's keep hanging out, let's keep going on dates and stuff like that. But it's all platonic. But then once we meet our significant others, then it's like, peace out.
Yeah,
Yeah, it sounds like friends with
yeah,
benefits
yeah. Without the benefits.
without the benefits. Yeah. Man, that's brutal.
Yep. I mean, I
Uh,
guess you friend zoned each other, so it's like, it's not a
yeah.
bad thing. Yeah.
Uh,
You know,
have
your
you
oh,
what?
your date reminded me of when I went on a date with this girl who just it was really awkward too, where we went to Outback Steakhouse. So I hadn't dated for a long time, and so this was my first date in a long time. And we met up at Outback Steakhouse, had some steak, and she didn't talk the whole time. I was there, the one
Mm,
talking, asking all the questions, and it was just really awkward. And I walked up to the car, just gave me a hug, and then left. Imagine that being your first impression after a long, like,
just like that, huh?
non-dating period, and you're like, man,
Dang.
dating sucks. But
Yeah, that is
then,
that's awkward for sure. Um, I mean, I have my fair share of awkward dates.
yeah.
Uh, I don't want to say them because what if they eventually listen to this and they're like,
That's why I'm not saying names.
um, but have you ever been catfished? Like bad? Like you look at the
uh,
pictures and everything and you're like, okay, yeah, cool. And
not
then you meet them
too
in
bad.
person.
Um, this one is like probably not on purpose. It was a girl. She had some really nice pictures. Blah blah blah. Good profile. We met up for Denny's, and
Denny's.
so I'm like waiting outside on the bench. I'm sitting down on my phone, just waiting for her, which you probably shouldn't do. You'd probably be actively waiting for your date. That way you don't look like you're uninterested. Anyway, I feel like I have all these tips that I don't need anymore. But I see her coming out. I see her, and she walks closer, and like we greet each other. She gets closer. I stand up, and I'm shorter than her. Like
Oh,
I'm looking up at her. And I think there was a moment where we both were like, oh, we both knew, subconsciously, yes, you're shorter, I'm taller. We still went on a date. It was fine. But I think by
yeah,
that we knew it just wasn't gonna. I think we both already wrote each other off. And it was still a good time. And I think that's what
yeah,
dating is. You're
yeah.
still learning to talk to people, learning what you want and all that stuff.
I went on a date with a tall girl. I think she was like 6'2". 6'3". He's like really tall.
Dang.
I mean, for perspective, for those that don't know me, like I'm 5'9.5". Gotta throw in that half. But so she's taller, right? And we met through a mutual friend, and so we went out to we went out to the movies. I don't even remember what movie we watched, but all I remember is that we went to the movie, like it was fine, and then we talked a little bit like before and after, obviously. But when we left the theater,
Yeah.
she was walking on the street, and I was walking on the sidewalk, so that we could be more even, like height wise, so that way it wasn't like looking up or anything like that. And I was like, man, is this what it's gonna be like if we work out? Like, am I gonna make you walk on the street and I'll walk on the sidewalk so I have like that height?
Could you imagine the wedding photos?
Bring me a box.
The wedding photos, you'd be like kissing up. You know, it's usually the girls like kissing up like that. You'd be the one kissing up.
So I know we laugh about it. Disclaimer: I have seen couples where the guy is shorter than the girl, and I think that's totally adorable. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Like, if you like each other, you like each other, and that's great.
Yeah, and I
Culture
think
shouldn't mean anything. It's just still funny.
I think wedding photos especially because the women are wearing heels, so they might be like it's the same height, like in regular clothing, but the moment she puts on heels, boom, towering.
Is
over the
Brittany
guy.
taller than you with heels on?
She actually doesn't like wearing heels, which is great.
Oh,
But she loves shoes, so the majority of our closet has shoes, which
But
isn't a problem.
Are you guys the same height? How tall is she?
5. I'm gonna be on the safe side. We've talked about it like at least twice this month. 5'6".
Okay.
Yeah.
And you're
5.
my height or 5'.
Yeah, I didn't know that you were 5'9" as well, or 5'9"
what you
and a
are?
half.
Yeah, that's right. Please.
5'9". I'm just straight 5'9". I don't. What? We're not the same height. How are we?
Yeah, we are. That sounds right.
How about girth? Just kidding.
Did you say what girth?
Demonetized.
Cool.
Anyway, okay, so where were we? Your date you were talking about.
Yeah, being taller than me.
Yes.
Oh,
You were
man,
talking about
she-
it was a movie theater, right?
Yeah, we went to the movies. We talked. She was taller than me. And she said goodbye. She gave me a kiss, and I was like, okay, cool. And then we never spoke again.
It was just one date.
Yeah, it's just the one thing. To me, it was hard for me because in my perspective, if you kiss, then it's like a half a contract. Not the full contract, but it's like, yeah, I like you kind of thing,
Hmm.
But yeah, she's the one that kissed me too.
Oh,
And,
she made the move.
Yeah, she's the one that made the move and everything, and then that was it. Nothing else happened. So,
Wait, was it like a peck or was it
No, it was
a full-on
full-on
kiss? Wow. Okay.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Hmm. And it's no second date. Interesting.
Nope. Maybe she was just trying to see like what it would be like to kiss a shorter guy. I got to be the lucky one.
That was probably on her checkbox. Kiss a midget. But
Hey,
I mean, in her perspective, I'm pretty sure 5'9" is pretty tall. Average. I'm pretty tall.
I think we're like medium to tall. I
Yeah.
don't think we're. I wouldn't consider us to be short men. I think we're like barely above average.
Yeah. I remember your movie theater date reminded me of a date I had with the movie theater. Wait, whoa. At a movie theater. Not with a movie theater. But, so let me give you a preface. So this girl I dated, she was very, how do I say, tactfully. She was very sheltered. That sounds like a mean word. Is that a mean word? Sheltered?
No, I think it's accurate to.
Not sheltered in a sense. Maybe she is, but she was a good girl. Didn't watch bad movies. Didn't, was very kind, very nice person. didn't like dirty talk or like um
Why are you doing dirty talk with girls that you're just barely
no,
meeting?
what am I trying to say? I'm more like
Like no swearing,
yeah,
no anything like
like
that. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
stuff.
Please
but
no dirty talk.
so we went on a date, and I think we were gonna watch Ant-Man, and we got our ticket, and for some reason I confused the seat number with our auditorium number. So I'm looking at the auditorium number, seats number, thinking, okay, this is auditorium. Go all the way to the theater, back in the back theater, and this is when Ant-Man came out. It was like a brand new movie. So I'm thinking,
Mhm.
why are they sending us back to the back of the
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 theater.
lame auditoriums? Usually the ones in the back are like small ones, and they're usually for movies that are out more.
Yeah.
And so we get in, sit down. We're sitting at the very top of the very last row. We're just having a nice conversation, talking about, stuff, Harry Potter, very, good conversation. And I'm seeing the theater, and this is like around prime time, and there's not a lot of people. I'm like, where is everybody? It's like, why is no one watching this movie? So I was like, whatever. Movie starts. Scene begins with a dad talking to his two little girls that are sitting on his like really nice car, Camaro. I don't know, old school car,
Mhm.
and they're talking to him. I was like, okay, watching, and all of a sudden he says, "Monogamy isn't real." It's like, repeat after me, girls. Monogamy isn't real. And I'm thinking, wait a second, this is a Disney movie, Ant-Man, Marvel. I was like, why are they talking about monogamy? And I was like, whatever, just kept going. And so then the scene ends. Next scene, it's a dark room, doors open, girl jumps on a bed, and then the next shot is this guy's butt, half the screen, naked butt. I look at, we look at each other, and I'm like, we're not in the right movie. So we ran straight out of the movie. We ran into the right movie. We were like,
Do you know what movie it was?
Trainwreck with Amy Schumer. Oh man,
Wow.
I felt so. That was another date I felt bad because now I exposed her to some man's
Butt
butt,
cheeks.
butt cheeks, and it all clicked. It made sense. I
Um,
was like, that's why there's not a lot of people, because it's an older movie. Oh man, I mean, we laughed about it at the end, but
yeah.
you just like,
That's funny that because like I've also gone on a couple of days with girls that are like very like uh goodies,
that's a
Also
good
same
word. I
thing
like that one. Goodies.
like they don't swear, they don't watch
Right.
R-rated movies,
Yeah.
they keep it they keep a clean lifestyle. Uh but then they get married and and then they're like craziest people ever and
I've seen
like
those.
they do
Yeah.
like a full 180 and
It's like
then
their eyes have been opened.
but like it's weird because like there's a few of them that I would see like pictures of them and they're like drinking and
Living that
partying and
crazy
whatnot
lifestyle.
and that's
Yeah.
kind of like 2 years ago you couldn't even say like
But
fart.
art.
Yeah.
And I think that and I've talked about this with Brittany. Like, I think it's because with their upbringing, they've been so used to like that lifestyle, and they're thinking that's the only lifestyle they have. And then they meet their person, and then they go on a honeymoon, and they realize life is more than what they were living, and then then that it kind of
to,
opens them up.
to go out and explore.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's yeah.
Yeah, I guess I think of it as like a little bubble, like it's so contained for so long and then once it gets exposed to the real life it like pops.
Yeah.
And yeah, it happens. I've seen it happen both ways. I've seen crazy people go really nice, and I've seen nice people go real crazy. And it's just life, man.
Yeah. Did you ever have like a go-to line when you were online dating? You matched with somebody?
Yeah, I got this from Oh man, I don't know where I got this idea from, but I would tell them like, you know, I have life insurance. That was it. I was just like, yeah, I got life insurance because apparently life insurance is like, ooh, safety or something like
Oh,
that. Like, be like, yeah, I got a good job with life insurance and house insurance, and there's
oh
like
man,
a
I haven't heard that one before.
uh I'm really butchering the line. There's like something more to it, but it was along those lines. Like you just kind of show that you're like responsible. Um, and I would use that line here and there, mostly to be funny, but I think it worked like 20% of the time, so it wasn't that great.
Oh man,
So
my
yeah, I didn't have a good one.
my
What's yours?
go-to line was, and it worked for sometimes. You just type in their name, and then three exclamation marks. That's it.
What?
Yeah,
And that worked?
it worked. The funny thing though is that it wouldn't have worked on my wife. So out of the blue, I got lucky, didn't use one of those lines, and it actually started a conversation.
So what did they say when you send their name with three exclamation points? Was it just kind
Because,
of like was it like, oh, he's excited?
yeah, right? You bring in the
Yeah.
energy, all that stuff.
Man,
It
dude,
worked.
that's what I never would have thought of that. I always try to be creative with my intro or my
Yeah.
sentences, whatever. I would always try to like look at their pictures and see like something relatable and then say something related to whatever, right? But that also didn't work as much as I wish it had. And it's annoying because girls are always like, if you're just gonna say hey, then don't even like, act me or whatever. And I'd be like, hey, that's a cool picture you got there. I've actually been there once and it was great. And like I tell them a good story or whatever, and nothing, just dead
No,
silence.
I could see those. I think those are the ones that you should be constantly doing. I can see how that can be demoralizing, doing
Yeah,
that all the time and putting the work in. But I mean, when you find that one person uh, that appreciates that, that's already a good start. Because then, if you realize if you're doing that and then they're not responding, then that's already a good indicator that um, they're not, willing to play the game. I guess you could say, or at
yeah,
least have that etiquette or manners to, realize, yes, I put in the work to look at your photos, see your profile, read it, and make a comment about it. So
yeah. I mean, I always appreciated when girls commented on something from my profile and they were more specific about it.
yep,
Like I actually really like that. I'm like, good. Like my effort is not in vain. Like people actually
yeah,
look at everything and not like you're talking for 2 days and then you mention something. They're like, oh, you did that. I'm like, yeah. There's a picture of me doing that thing. Like if you scroll down a little bit, I'm like, yeah. Like there's people that don't even look at anything. They just look at the first picture, and I guess that's good enough for them.
I appreciate it when girls or women they would kind of reciprocate the conversation. If you ask a question, they answer it. Then they ask a question, you answer it. You have like this back and forth, kind of like very equal back and forth, and it's like a good indicator to see how well a conversation is going. Like if you can size up the well, a way I sized up was that, when you send a message, your color was blue, your bubble, and then when they respond, that bubble is the same size. If you write a big bubble, then they should probably write a big bubble. Not should, but like if they do, then it's like a good indicator that they're reciprocating.
Yeah, instead of a yeah, yeah, okay,
Like that was for me when I was
yes,
talking to, like, when you chatting, and then you realize they're giving one word responses. You write like, a couple lines, 3 lines, and they're doing one line. You're like, and if it's consistent, then you're like, okay, maybe this isn't the best.
just yeah. No, I definitely had some of those too. Um, just really annoying is like you try to like be engaging and
Yeah.
then they don't, but they still keep you on that hook and it's really annoying because you try to like bring them up to like have an actual conversation, but they still don't, and they still like do like one word, replies or something like that. And it's like, okay, so you're still here, and yeah, it's annoying. It's very time consuming.
But it's worth
Yeah.
it though. In the end, it might like it's at least you can say you put in the work, and then you're the best version of yourself, and you did everything you could. And the world, if they're not receiving this, that's like not a reflection on you. It's a reflection on other people. That sounds so cliche.
No, that's a good way to look at it. Look at you being all positive and stuff. I'll be like, screw you if you're not gonna say more than two words. Bye.
Oh man.
I mean, towards the end, I was definitely like being a little bit more picky with it, and I was being more short with people. So if they weren't engaging by like a day or two, then I'd be like, all right, like you're not worth it. Um, so that's what I meant. Like when I met Amber, like I was just getting so tired of all these like people like not responding correctly, and I remember seeing her profile, and I was just like, she's cute. I'm like, let's say something funny. I don't even know if it was funny.
That's a
But
good indicator though. If they laugh at it, that's a good indicator.
I mean, she probably did. And she still laughs at me. Not with me. She laughs at me.
There's a sign. That's a good
Yeah.
sign right there.
Yeah, I
Right?
know. I'll just keep saying funny things. Keep her laughing. Um, but yeah, and that's how. Like I literally the matches that I had when I matched with her, I had said to myself, "This is it. If none of these girls work, like I'm done." Um, but luckily, yeah, it worked out with her.
That's usually how it goes. Right when you're done with it all.
Hmm.
It's like the ones that your last pool of candidates.
Yeah,
Then it's one of those.
yeah,
My
yeah. That was
guess,
great.
my theory on that is that at that point you've kind of let go of your expectations, maybe your unrealistic expectations, and so then when that guard is down, then you're more open to the person rather than your expectations you have for yourself or expectations you want to put on them. So
Wow, this has been a very wise conversation. I hadn't really thought about it that way, but it actually makes a lot of sense. I mean, I've heard that before, like just let it be. Like, when you stop thinking about it so much, that's when it happens. When you least expect it is when it happens. Um, and yet it's very cliche to say, but I think, yeah, I think that's true.
yeah,
I think I mean, it's probably a little bit different for everybody, but it's all within the same.
principles are there, same.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, um, should we give some advice to people that are still on the dating apps? Should like do's and don'ts?
Actually, yeah, I was watching this show on Hulu. It talks about dating, and picked up some good stuff on there. And I think, and it really depends on your area that you use the app. But apparently, dogs. If you have dogs in your pictures, it's good. Using, or if you have like family members, don't have pictures with with more attractive people than you, because then they're gonna be like, okay, let me see who the friend is rather than who the person
Right.
is. So, and that's kind of sad though. Like people would
Be
try
that
to
shallow.
shallow in the sense of like, if I can make myself look better by posing with someone uglier than me, then that boosts my attractiveness. I don't know.
Isn't there something about that? There's a movie about it. The Duff, the
The Duff,
the Duff or the Buff or something like that is like.
a 2015 movie, huh?
Oh, are you looking it up?
Screenplay, blah blah blah. The Duff. I don't know. Senior designated ugly fat friend.
Yes, that's the one.
Oh,
Where like every group of people has like that one ugly friend to make
right. Oh
everybody else
yeah.
look better or something like it's actually a pretty funny movie. I think it has like Lindsay Lohan in it. Am I
I'm
right?
guessing this is one of her last movies she's in.
Probably.
Nah, it
I
looks
mean,
like Bella Thorne and some other girl.
hmm.
Ken Jeong. Whoa, Chang's in that movie from Community. I didn't know that.
He's in everything, man.
I know, right?
Look at any movie, he's gonna be in it in the background at least. But yeah, I agree with that one. Don't have people that are like super
Just have.
attractive with you.
I think the main is just have pictures of just you. Don't overcomplicate it by having other people in there.
I think so I think it's good to have like 90% pictures of you. I think different settings are good. Uh don't just show your face. If you people that have like the face only, I instantly think you're insecure about your body, which leads me to believe you're, you
Hiding
know,
the rest of your body.
yeah, and
And
uh,
it might not be the case, but the problem now is that it's so there is that that trope or stereotype now that people will think just because you're showing your face that you're not willing to show your body. You might have a good body, but if you don't know that, then there's these layers of expectations that you have to like. It's
do
like
you
playing the
think
game. That is playing the game. You have to know the rules.
do you think that that's okay? So if somebody's like showing their face only, do you think that's always going to be connected to insecurity about the body, or do you think it's just like, no, I just really like pictures of my face?
I don't know, cause I'm thinking of like actors. They just have headshots, and they might want to use that as their profile. But I think
That's true.
in general, yeah, maybe they might be insecure. Um, I'm not sure.
Well, I would always try to throw like a body pic.
Yeah, you
I think
should.
it helps, kind of like, put the head to the body, in a sense.
Like I was
Um,
watching that show, and they were talking about how like it's they attributed it to being catfished is when they don't show their body, because now they show their body and they're like, oh, your pictures made it seem like you were, that you had this body type, and now, they feel lied to, which is like, yeah,
yeah, and I mean it's unfortunate, but
yeah.
um, I get that. So I would recommend a body picture. I would recommend that whatever gender you are, don't have a picture with the opposite gender, just the two of you.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
Uh,
Yes.
it doesn't matter if they're your brother, cousin, best friend, whatever. Having a picture, if you're a chick with a picture of a dude, it's to me it's a turn off. To me it's like, oh, so you're saying that, you got dude friends or whatever. Like it brings a type of
There's no.
like it brings like insecurities and competition
There's so many
into it. So
interpretations of it. Like it can mean, yeah, it might be, you're trying to say you have guy friends. That might say that you still have a thing for your ex. That might mean that, you're into family members. But like, I don't know, like
South
you don't,
Alabama.
like you don't want to make any misconceptions as much as you can, because people are going through this app really fast,
Yeah.
and it's like it's subconscious. It's like so quick when they look at your photo, and they might not read, because you see the picture, and then you see a picture with kids, and you have to scroll down to the profile, and it says, oh, this is my niece, this is my,
Yeah.
and I'm guilty of that. I've put my niece in there, and
I did too.
some people
At
don't
one point.
won't read the profile, and they'll be like, oh, he has a kid. Oh, never mind.
And
And
vice
then
versa.
yeah,
I okay, actually this is a part that I'm like a bit conflicted. It's like 50-50.
right.
Because part of me believes that if you have a kid, you should probably disclose it. Um, because I've met girls who have kids, but they don't say anything in their profile, they don't say anything before we meet or anything like that. We meet, and then there's one person that it wasn't until after our first date that I was like, "Hey, do you want to go on a second date?" And she was like, "Well, the thing is, like, I have a kid," and I was like, "Oh." I'm like, "Well, I mean, honestly, that's fine with me," but I was kind of thrown aback that this is information that came after the first date ended.
Right.
And so I understand that there's like privacy issues. Like I understand people that don't want to share that they have kids on social media kind of thing, right? Like I get that, I respect that. Uh, but maybe mention it either before you meet for the date. Like if you're planning a date, maybe like say like, hey, just FYI, like I do have a kid. Like, are you okay with that? Because there's people that aren't. There's people that are and people that aren't. But I think it's important information because that's a life changing situation. If you don't bring it before you meet, then bring it up when you're meeting.
Yeah.
Um,
And
I
it
mean,
goes, yeah.
unless you have like zero expectations to keep this going, then whatever, you know. But if there's any interest at all, it's probably a smart thing to say.
No, I agree. Like it goes back to what I was saying earlier, where, and I could imagine some people or some women excluding that information because, they're going by the rules of like they're trying to portray an image that will attract uh, more matches. But at the same time, when they do match with people, then they're not they're not matching with what their potential matches are. So it's like they're checking off. When you put in height in your profile, and then I guess there's some filters you can do like 5'9", 5. It's like as if they're going from, they can be either, or age is a better example. They say they can either be 18 to 55. Of course, they're going to attract more people, but then now they're sifting through things that they already know they're not going to go for. So, in the sense of like with children, there's going to be some people, some men or women that are out there that don't want to, have to raise a child, and either, because they're not ready, or, they have their own personal views on it. So you might want to kind of be as honest as you can, disclose as much as you can that you need, that's appropriate.
Yeah, I think that's one of the more important things to talk about, like in the first stages of dating. But yeah, I would say update your pictures often, and by often I mean within a year or two. In 2 years, pushing it sometimes, because bodies can change rather quickly.
No shirtless photos, I've found out, actually.
Wait,
that
what?
same show I was watching, they say no shirtless.
Oh, for dudes?
Yeah, no Yeah, sorry, I forgot to clarify. Yeah.
I think it has like bad connotations to it.
Yeah.
I've also heard from girls say that they don't like if they see a shirtless picture, it's like a straight no.
It depends. Like it goes back to like depending on where you are. If you're in California or like Florida, I would imagine like shirtless, yes. And then you're attracting the kind of audience that will be like, yes, shirtless. That's probably more like the Tinder audience opposed to
to the other.
right. So
yeah.
like the situation, right? You're shirtless and you're a goodie. I like that word now. You're a goodie, right? And then you attract a girl that's not a goodie. And then you find out this girl is like, you date, and then you're into it. 10 dates in, you're like, oh my gosh, you realize that, this is not the type of person you want to be with. Now you've wasted 10 dates. You've wasted 10 hours. If those dates were 1 hour each. Wasted energy, emotion. Oh, man. Not the most efficient.
Yeah, it's always smart to be honest at first. So, well, I don't think I have any more advice for people out there. Update pictures. Keep them clean. Be honest.
I think next time maybe we should like look up a list and then just go over it together.
Okay, I agree.
But yeah, I don't have anything else.
All right. Well, it seems like we're approaching. Oh, we're a little over an hour now.
Yeah.
Or at least for the voice recording. But yeah, I think we're close to an hour right now. So, thanks everybody again for joining us today. Did anybody join us live?
We have 2 people watching.
Hey.
So.
Thank you for listening in live. That means a lot to me.
Yeah.
To us, I'm sure. So we'll do this every Wednesday night, 7 p.m. Mountain Time.
Hopefully at 7 exactly. If we figure out all our technical difficulties.
Yeah, we apologize for the late start.
Yeah.
We had some yeah, we had some tech difficulties, and yeah, we're trying to figure it out. But we got it there. We're good. For the people that are just listening, we just had problems with the camera, but they're not listening live, so that's fine.
Yeah.
Um,
Listen
yeah.
to us on our podcast on Spotify. Just look us up at GNG Podcast. Of course, you can watch this again on YouTube when it's not live. If you like what you heard, and if you like what we talk about, and you like hanging out with us, just feel free to subscribe. All that good stuff.
Yeah, and leave us comments. Let us know what do you think of this conversation. Let us know what you'd like us to talk about next. We'll get a list going for topics so that we can communicate with our viewers and listeners. So
All right.
right on. Well, Gabe, have a good night.
You too.
See you next week.
All right. See ya.
Bye.